Hello people of the internet, it's Amanda, and this video feels a little bit long overdue in a way, but the reason why I'm only making this now is I just don't want to lump it with all the other King and Prince Land stuff that I've been doing for the past couple of weeks, and I really want it to be like its own thing. Like I want my headspace to be just clear and full of it once I consume this content, and for me to be able to like fully process it just by itself. And so it finally happened. I finally got to watch Arashi's 5x20 or 5x20 concert, and I have been tweeting about this, just full of feels, all these types of things, but I never, like, I feel like just talking about it, you know, in that manner isn't enough to encapsulate every single thought that I have for this entire thing. And even while like planning out my notes for this particular video, or even here probably like once the final product is out there, I feel like whatever it is that I'm going to say isn't enough to cover all the emotions and all the thoughts that I had while actually watching it, but I'll try as much as possible to, I don't know, to be as comprehensive and cohesive as I can. But knowing me, obviously that probably won't be the case. I did have my notes here, but chances are, you know, I'll definitely like move past this when I start talking about, you know, the feelings that I have for this particular con. But okay, so before all of these things, let's get to the fast facts first. So the 5x20 or 5x20 concert was held in 50 dome tours all over Japan with an estimate of almost 2.4 million audiences. The last tour in Tokyo was also played consecutively in cinemas all over Japan. So not really like every single cinema, but there are points in different parts of Japan where it was also being simulcasted. It apparently, like Obama research, so when the release for the DVD/Blu-ray happened, it became the highest selling release of concert/DVD Blu-ray so far during the Reiwa era. And this one is also the main topic of episode 14 of Arashi's Diary Voyage. Now, the thing is, I have seen the episode first before I watched 5x20. And interestingly enough, even just that, like, I feel like it's better if you watch the con first and then that episode, but given the rate of things, I watched that first before this one. And even then, like, there's already so many feels in that, and just watching that made me anticipate watching the actual live itself, because some of the things that Arashi have said about this this tour is that, you know, it's given that they're going on hiatus by the end of 2020, this is more of like a final, like a swan song in a way to their audiences. And how one thing that made me tear up when I watched that episode was they kept on saying, you know, it's a way to convey their feelings to the audiences that they've had and had supported them for the last 20 years. And it is a form of appreciation. Like, it's a word that came out from them individually in that entire thing. And I think that's like that in itself, you know, it's interesting. Obviously, like, a lot of artists say these things in every single live, but given the way that they sort of like shaped Japanese entertainment in a way, given all the things that they've done in their past shows, the meaning of appreciation and conveying one's feelings and all these things really take a different turn, or has a different taste to the mouth, if you get what I mean. So there's definitely that. Now, I wouldn't, now, as you know, so in this video, I did this with my land concert, Talk talk through as well that I just displayed the set list because going through it one by one would just be so much even for me. So I'll just be displaying the set list over here. I'll be putting it down in the description as well. To summarize, 5 by 20, I would say that the first part, let's divide it into, the parts or the CDs, if you will. Like the first part is definitely more of a visual feast. They brought in Team Lab for this one. If you don't know, so Team Lab is the one who was responsible for the Team Lab Borderless experience in Japan. It's like this walkthrough museum type of thing, a very sensorial experience. And they brought that in for this particular concert. And the second part is more of like a feels fest. So if I were to divide it into two parts, I would say that's that. Because the first part, it covers, I guess, the brilliance of direction, of production, of performance. It basically encapsulates Arashi in their professional form as idols, as artists. Within 5 minutes, actually, I was already stunned. I mean, I know their level of like how they do their productions and everything like that, and that technology that went into the pen lights for it to synchronize with the performances and everything like that. So I already am aware of that level of brilliance, but just seeing that again manifest in this particular live was really something else. And it wasn't even 5 minutes into the footage, I was already like stunned by it. I was in awe. I love aesthetics so much, so just seeing that wave of just colors playing off, and I don't know, there's just something about it that really was, I just kept on saying it's so beautiful. That's so beautiful. I think within 10 minutes of just watching, I've said it 100 times, and I'm not even exaggerating because I can't stop muttering those words as I was watching. Then the LED thing happened, and I was just, for all I can think of is that for anyone, and I'm not directing this to anybody or any specific whoever, but to anyone who doubts the Japanese music industry or J-pop or even Johnny's or whatever, or Arashi, this is something that they have to see, because this will change the way you see or your perception of, even if you're not a fan, I guess you would be a fool not to appreciate the beauty that went into this live. I will stand by that particular statement. I will fight anyone who says otherwise, because you don't achieve this level of artistry just by simply existing. There's a lot of like creativity that poured into this level of detail, and what's important, I guess, is the involvement, because I'm not sure if it's just me, but whenever I watch lives or concerts, there's a certain feeling when the artists are directly involved in creating the production, even the music, even in albums or stuff like that. There's definitely something that ticks when the artists are actually involved in the things that they're doing. I'm not sure if it's just me, but I get that kind of feeling. Like, you can easily distinguish what's manufactured or what's plotted or what's planned out by someone else. And I'm not saying that it's a bad thing, but I don't know, there's just a different level or a different feeling to a production or a song or anything like that, where the artists themselves are directly involved. And for 5 by 20, considering that, we know that Matsumoto Jun is behind most of whatever it is that went into this brilliance, you can feel that, like, and it's it was conveyed really well because of that, I think, in my opinion. So there's that. Now, the entire thing lasts around, I don't know, roughly 4 hours, but I barely even noticed it. Like, honestly, I thought that, you know, when I found out how long it was going to be, I was like, this is really a lot. Like, do I really want to be watching this at night? And I'll probably be spending, I don't know, I'll probably not sleep early again this night, given, you know, the length of this. This is like a Lord of the Rings movie or something like that. But I barely even noticed how long it was, because every single part of it just delivers a new layer of experience. Again, visual-wise, music-wise, also nostalgia, just in a way. I remember, you know, I couldn't help but tweet that when I heard Truth, it really brought me back so much, because even if, you know, I sort of like discovered Arashi from Hanadan. Obviously, I'm a huge Hana Yoridango fan. But the song that really made me want to like look into their music more is Truth, which is the OP for Mao. And the reason why I was so invested in it is because, obviously, like I've talked about this before, Ikuto Toma was my Ichiban at the time, and he co-starred with Satoshi Ono. So just that, and I was like, this song is a bop, so let me check it out. And I will be talking more about, you know, my quote-unquote relationship with Arashi and being a fan of Arashi later on into this video, once we really dive deep into the Feels Fest. But when I heard that, again, that's what this concert is about. I realized that that was what this concert was about. It was bringing back these memories and feelings and the relationship that fans have with the music of Arashi, whenever it is that you enter the fandom. And I don't know, like, and there's just something about hearing these songs in this context, in this time, that brings you back to when you first heard it, and you realize just how far, I mean, you already know it, but it's a realization of how far they've come as artists, as idols that you've watched. And I don't know, like, that to me was the entire essence of what 5x20 is. Now, the thing with this is, I have to say that my family was watching with me. They had no choice. I was playing it on our TV, so they had no choice. But even like my parents were in awe of just, you know, like when I explained to them that this happened 50 times all over Japan, this live, and when they saw, you know, the production and anything, even they had very strong comments, positive comments about it, which I wouldn't disclose in this video because honestly, some of them are directed at certain parties and I wouldn't want to dive deep into that. But I think another thing that I like most about this is realizing that, you know, J-music or Johnny's or J-pop or Arashi in general, it's not about perfection in a technical sense. And I'm not saying that production-wise, because obviously the production is just brilliant, but more on the performances itself. Like, it's not about synchronicity in terms of actions. It's not about, you know, delivering like high dynamic notes every single time. It's not about that. Which in a way might be what other people are looking for. Again, I don't mean to like attack or direct this to anyone, but more of just, you know, a general observation. I feel like perfectly encapsulates what these performances feel like is warm. It's beautiful and it's warm. And the reason why I say this is because they make it seem like, you know, you're not watching these idols or artists through a smoke screen. Like, there's a difference between being in awe but seeing it through stained glass. I'm not sure if you're getting me, but you know, that idea. And there's also this one thing of watching it and feeling like you're actually a part of it. And I feel like this definitely felt like that. And I'm only watching this through a screen, so what more if I was there? And I'm sure it differs for fans of like different groups or whatever niche you're in. I'm sure the experience is different, but to me, this is what this made me feel. There's a sense of warmth in it that, you know, it's not polished. It doesn't feel manufactured or polished to perfection or anything like that. But it is perfect in its own way, and that's where the beauty of it lies. And yeah, now I comes the more, I don't know, feels fest part, I would say. I don't think I've talked about this in videos before, but I have talked about it in like random people. I'm the type who, whenever I stan a certain group, I don't really like, other groups are just in the fringes, if you get what I mean. So like I'm not the type who has multiple like people that I support. Even with my ichibans, like that's my attitude towards it. Like I only direct my attention to like one person for the longest time, and I don't really shift around a lot. I have that attitude towards fangirling because I'm not sure if you've noticed, but I tend to be very passionate about, you know, things that I like, and just having so many I can't handle that emotionally, physically, mentally. So usually, like, whenever I have one group that I want to focus on, that's just that. Back when, you know, I was still new to the J Entertainment life thing, KAT-TUN was my main group. I liked them because as a preteen / teenager, I was really more into edgy music. Even until now, like, that's a thing that I like. And so that's why I was just drawn to them. And it was also like a major factor was also my aunt who introduced me to this entire thing. She was very into KAT-TUN. So I, as a kid, didn't really have a lot of like resources to look for these information myself. So I sort of just adapted into that. But Arashi is that group that was inevitable in a way. I'm not sure if you get what I mean, but they're a group that was there and I can't help but not pay attention to them. Maybe, again, it has something to do with my eternal love for Hanayori Dango or anything, I don't know, but to me, that's what they felt like. And so I remember when KAT-TUN was starting to like lose its members. So it started with Akanishi Jin. That was also around the time when I was drifting away from the J Entertainment life because of like very personal circumstances. And so eventually, you know, I've mentioned this in previous videos before, I've had my hiatus with it where I completely lost touch with it. Like, I watch films here and there, but I don't know what's happening anymore with the industry, who's like the rising stars or what's happening in music or anything like that. But one thing that remained constant throughout that entire time is like hearing about Arashi. And I don't know, like they just felt like a very constant presence in a way. The first time that I visited Japan in 2016, even if I was detached with like everything else, and then KAT-TUN, you know, it didn't feel like it definitely encapsulated like everything that I missed because it changed so much from when I was into this entire thing, and then now like they're very different. But Arashi was, again, that one thing that just remained constant to me. So there's a sense of comfort that even if I don't know what was happening in J Entertainment at that time anymore, just seeing Arashi everywhere when I first visited Japan, and then seeing them like from the airport to whatever random like drugstore I walk into, um, it was sort of like a reminder that, you know, this was a thing that you were so into back then. And even my visit in 2017, so I don't know, like whenever I saw Arashi stuff wherever, it sends a different level of like warmth, that, you know, there's this one thing that I can go back to that has never changed from when I started liking these things. And even if I haven't been actively into the industry anymore, just like, you know, what's what with it, Arashi provides me that sense of nostalgia. And then when 2018 happened, now this one I've talked about before. When 2018 happened, you know, Hana no Chihare happened, and I got into, you know, King and Prince. I guess a major factor as to why I was so drawn to them and to just this entire thing again in general is, again, reverting back or going full circle to the feelings that I've had for Hana Yoridango, for Love So Sweet, for Wish, and these things. And then, you know, finding out that Jun was very much into Cinderella Girl. I thought initially that he was just teasing his kouhais when I first heard about him talking about it. But I guess part of why I love King and Prince was because I know, or I felt a certain connection to Arashi in a way. Like, I feel like if it didn't have that level of connection to the thing that made me fall in love with J-dramas in the first place, I wouldn't be as invested to it now, when I heard about it. And obviously, like, people who know me as a fangirl would know that King and Prince is my ultimate group right now. Like, I can't really stand, like, I pay attention to other groups here and there, but full attention, like everywhere else, eyes closed, it's just Kimpori at the moment. But Arashi is that one group that I feel like defies that philosophy in me. Like, I wouldn't call myself a full-fledged, I know a lot of people are much more deserving of the title full-fledged Arashian than me. So I wouldn't call myself that, but I wouldn't call myself a casual fan as well. And I feel like Arashi definitely broke the rule for me of just paying attention to just one group ultimately whenever I stan some group, is because, and that's because for Arashi, they hold a special place in my heart, given how, again, there's a sense of warmth that I get from them. And whenever I think about, you know, how far they've come or how they withstood, like, even all the changes that happened with the other groups that I used to listen to, I don't know, 15, 18 years ago, they remained the same but still evolved in a way, in their own way. And that to me means something so much that I can't even put to words. The thing is, what makes me emotional, I guess, about this entire thing is I can only hope that their kouhais not really follow their path in a sense that, you know, copy every single thing that they've done. But I can only hope that they learn from this level of professionalism and friendship and respect for one another. Like, I can only hope for that, because it literally pains me to think of what would happen if a group that I'm supporting disbands or anything like that. And I could only wish for them to stay very similarly to how Arashi is right now. their kouhais embrace not just their professionalism or the level of brilliance or innovation or pushing boundaries, but I hope that their kouhais also learn the meaning of the importance for internal respect for their craft, their fans, for each of the members of their group, and to respect who they are and what they stand for. Because I feel like for Arashi, you know, they're a group that never really compromises their music or their identity as a group or their vision, because they know exactly who they are. Like, we've seen it throughout their careers, we've seen it through Voyage, and obviously like here in 5x20. Like, they enter a new territory, for example US, and they're not easily swayed by, you know, whatever. They know what they want. They know what they want to convey to their audience. And I can only I can only hope that their kouhais learn from this, and that we get more of these in the future, where, you know, we see a group celebrating, similar to V6, I guess, like we see more groups celebrating their 20th, 25th, 30th anniversary without any lapses, without any losses, because that feeling for a fan is just something. It's a fulfilling feeling of having to look back throughout these years, and it seems like, you know, a lot of things have changed, but not really. I would say that 5x20 is definitely an experience. It's Arashi's legacy. It encapsulates everything that they work hard for in 20 years that they've been in the industry, but more importantly, it definitely encapsulates the relationship that they've had with their fans, of that sense of togetherness through and through. And I think that's why this has a very, very special meaning to it, beyond just, you know, the anniversary or the hiatus happening or anything like that. I think, yeah, that's the core of this entire thing. That's the soul of this entire thing, and I can't express it enough to how much, you know, just watching this is gonna stick to me for, and I mean, I've just seen it, you know, on screen, but it will stick to me as one of the most brilliant things I've ever seen. And again, whoever this is, Arashi or J Music or whatever, I would slap them with this con. Yeah. So here's another video that would probably be a pain to like edit because of how long it's gotten, but it was worth it. Tell me down in the comments below, have you seen 5x20? What are your thoughts? How long have you been an Arashian? I don't know, just put down the feels down there. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, and if you're new to my channel and would want to hear more from me, please hit subscribe. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I'm looking forward to seeing you again in a new one.